Hey everybody, we are back, and just to let you know, Carrie got this from one of her favorite stores, and we may be doing alchemy videos. I don't know. So just to let you know, if alchemy videos come, we'll be there. All right, so today we are actually going to do a take on an Italian dish called Eggs in Purgatory. And this is going to be a keto version, so it's going to be creamy Italian style baked eggs. And the recipe is actually on the blog at carriebrown.com, so make sure you check that out. So what we're going to do is we get our skillet nice and hot right here. We're going to toss in some butter right there. Get that all melted up nice. I love cooking with cast iron skillets. I always have since I was a kid. I didn't really cook with them that much on the truck because they were so heavy to move around. And now that I'm off the truck, I get to cook with them again, and I am so excited. So, we're going to take some onions and we're going to start sauteing these guys up. You can adjust the onions according to your carb requirements. Onions can be somewhat carby for some people. So if you want to even omit the onion step, you can totally do that. I like some of the health benefits that actually come from onions, so I like to use them in a lot of the dishes. Plus I love the flavor of cooked onions. And we're about to have a cameo by Mr. McHenry, who's wanting water. So next, on the recipe, I'm going to let him have a drink of water. This is how he likes to have some water. So, here we go. On the recipe, you'll see the full recipe there. And on the notes, I do say how you can actually adjust this recipe in different ways to make it more filling, suit your taste. You can add things like artichoke hearts. This is the most simple recipe, but recently we did a roasted garlic video. And I wanted to incorporate a little bit of that roasted garlic flavor into this iteration of the Italian style baked eggs. Roasted garlic adds fantastic flavor dimensions to things. It's something that I absolutely love. So we're going to get these onions down to a translucent color. We're just going to saute them a little bit. And after we get the onions in there, we're going to be going ahead and tossing in some ground beef. And this ground beef actually comes from our friend Joan Walker from Walker Farms, which is right down the way from us. She was actually at Keto Fest last year. She has fantastic grass-fed, grass-finished beef. She's a local person, small farm. So especially in times when things aren't going great, I really like to try to focus in on local businesses and find local sources for things. He's done. Everything stops for Mr. McHenry. So, you can see we're getting these onions to a nice translucent color. You can actually do a variety of takes on this dish. If you're sensitive to nightshades, one thing you could try is doing like ground chicken in there. You can do, on the recipe it calls for Italian sausage, but if you look at the notes, you can do lamb, beef, veal, things like that. But if you are sensitive to nightshades, so tomatoes are a problem for you, you could actually do a modified version using a keto version of an Alfredo sauce. It'll be very different in flavor, and you will have to monitor when it goes in the oven that you don't burn the sauce. But if you are sensitive to nightshades, that is an alternative. So we are getting the onions to a translucent. They're starting to cook. We're going to go ahead and toss in our beef. Now, as I said, on the recipe, it calls for Italian sausage. The one thing about Italian sausage, when you go to the store, it can sometimes be difficult to actually find a good Italian sausage with clean ingredients. So I really want to make sure that you have the option and know that you have an option to alter things up if you cannot find the right ingredients. So this dish would be excellent with veal. It would be excellent with lamb if you want to try some different meats. It's excellent with beef. A lot of times in the Italian sausage at the store, when you read the ingredients, they have things like dextrose, fructose, things that are not so friendly on your health, let alone the keto lifestyle. So you really have to be careful when you're reading the ingredients. And I'm just going to break this up, make it in small pieces, because I really want it to, when I put the sauce in, I really want it to mix in very well. And this dish will make enough food for, and family of 4, or if you had me as a kid in your family of 1.5. Oh, my kid now would have ate the whole dang thing and asked you if you were hungry. All right. So, as that beef is browning up, I have some mushrooms. And I'm going to go ahead and put these in, so that they can start sauteing up with the fat from the beef and everything in the dish here and start cooking. Now this dish does call for a marinara sauce. And marinara sauce is another tricky one to find at the market. There are a few brands with clean ingredients, but there's not many out there, so you have to really read the labels. You will often find things like sugar or fructose. I've even seen, believe it or not, in one that I picked up in Walmart, it had maple syrup in it. I have no idea why they put maple syrup in marinara, but they did. So there are some companies that you can get, like Rouse, we'll put a link below, that have a clean marinara sauce. If not, it is super easy to make your own marinara sauce. You can do it in a slow cooker. You can do it with some canned tomatoes. The other thing you want to watch too with canned tomatoes and other tomato products is they often like to add a lot of nefarious ingredients like stabilizers, sugar, and MSG and taste enhancers. So you really want to be careful on the products that you buy, read the ingredients, and even if it is a trusted product that you have bought before, still every once in a while check out the ingredients, because sometimes companies will sell their company off to a larger company, and when the larger company takes over, they may change up the ingredients, or sometimes people just change up the ingredients for no real reason. So be vigilant and make sure that you get good quality, clean ingredient products. So the meat's starting to brown up, mushrooms starting to cook, onions getting translucent, and the roasted garlic is mixing in with the beef. If you got a get-together coming over, this is also, because it's such an easy ingredient and looks really cool when you're done, it's one of those super simple dishes that makes everybody think that you slaved all over the stove all day long. But it's great for little get-togethers, so you could totally do it for a get-together. Now, next we're going to add in our marinara. So it goes in the pool. Set this over here, and we're going to mix this all up to incorporate. Now we got some nice fats going on with the butter that we already put in there. And now we're going to add some cream. And that's the creamy part of the creamy Italian style baked eggs. And again, I'm just going to be careful so I don't make a mess all over the place. I'm good at that. I'm really good at that. Aren't I, Carrie?
Yes. Yes, you are.
All right. So, what we want to do is get this up to a nice simmer. I'm going to increase the temperature so we can get it up there a bit faster. And while I'm getting this into the simmer, I'm going to add a little bit of Italian seasoning just to kind of give it a little bit more of an herby flavor to it. And that's another thing. I just spent a long time talking about labels, but whenever you're buying seasoning, check those labels. It's very important. Seasonings are another things that if they say something like bulking agent or separation agent, it's usually something that is carby or chemically that you really probably don't want to put in your diet if you actually knew what it was, especially if you're on keto. So everything's nice and incorporated in here. I did list some options on the website of different things you can put in to accommodate your tastes. And somebody on the Kitchen Rockstars group actually made this the day after it posted, and they put a little bit of chopped olives over the top. Perfectly fine. You can garnish with whatever you want, add whatever flavors in there, what works for you. There are some people in this household who do not like olives, so I'm not incorporating that. If I were making this for myself, I would probably put in some red chili flake or some sort of pepper. However, there are people in this household that do not like spicy. Right, Carrie? Right, Carrie? Right, Carrie? Come on, don't leave me hanging. Oh, jeez. That's what I got to work with. All right. She's over there laughing and she's not even saying anything. She knows she's leaving me hanging. All right. So, but there is a full list, and you can actually get very creative with this. You're cooking to your tastes, and this is something that I could make in the truck, and I have made it in the truck. And I didn't always have the ingredients that I was looking for, because as I was traveling around, sometimes things would be lost at Walmart or sold out, and Walmart was one of the few places I was able to stop in the truck. So I wasn't always able to get the ingredients that I was looking for. So most of the recipes that I do, I have kind of created them in a way that can be easily modified when you want to modify them. And that was really important because I was up in the air if, a lot of times, even if I could stop at a place to get something. But you go to different areas in this country and you can find very much that there is not certain types of ingredients available. Certain areas are food deserts. So I try to encourage people to be a little creative and to use what's available to them that will fit within the taste profile of the dish. It might change it a little bit, but something like this, you can go ahead and do that. All right, so this is starting to simmer. That sauce is getting nice and hot. Everything's incorporating in real well. And the next thing we got, cheese. I love cheese. Everybody loves cheese. Even people who say they don't like cheese, I think they like cheese. All right. Sometimes cheese don't like them though. So we got some grated Parmesan. You could do it grated if you want, or I'm gonna turn the heat off actually. Or you could do the young baby Parmesan or baby mozzarella and slice it. This is mozzarella I have, not Parmesan. And you could put a layer of that over. So I'm just going to make sure that I get a nice coating all the way toward the edge. The grating of it does make it easier to work with, I think, a little bit because you can spread it out easier. All right. And now I have my eggs. And I'm going to leave this bowl right here because it's going to be an easy place for me to put my cracked egg shells when I'm done. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a spoon, the backside of a spoon, and I'm just going to make little pockets to help kind of keep my eggs together so that they don't spread all over the dish. And we're going to go ahead and crack some eggs in this bad boy. There we go. I love eggs, especially on a keto diet. Eggs are one of the perfect ratio of proteins and fats. And egg yolks themselves are very nutrient dense. They have a similar nutrient profile as actually liver does. And that makes them a fantastic thing to have in your diet. The only thing you might be a little bit hesitant about of having eggs in your diet regularly is if you do have a casein sensitivity, casein protein. That's what eggs are composed of. So if you, the egg whites in particular, so if you have a sensitivity to that, I don't know an alternative, but you might just omit the old egg step altogether. Next, I got some Parmesan. You can grate your own. I would be careful with some of the store-bought Parmesans because of the fact that they can use some anti-bulking agents. If I see cellulose, I'm not too concerned about cellulose because cellulose is actually basically wood fiber. So it doesn't overly concern me, but it's definitely something I'm not going to be like, oh yay, cellulose. So, all right. We're going to throw on a bit of black pepper. A little bit of salt, only a little bit because the Parmesan itself is very, very salty. So, now I'm going to take this, and I've preheated my oven to about 415 degrees, and I'm going to throw this guy in there. Okay, and we will see you on the next part. Hey everybody, we're back through the magic of editing. So we have our creamy Italian baked eggs. For a moment, I almost forgot the name. All right, and what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and garnish it up with just a little bit of a fresh herb medley. Give it some nice color, a little green splash over the top, and also a little brightness of the flavor. I'm going to hit it with just a little bit more of the Parmesan over the top. And before I serve this, I actually allowed it to rest for a few minutes so that things can settle down. The sauce can get to more of a not burn the heck out of your mouth, plus thicken up a little bit type texture. And we are going to go ahead and serve. So, I'm going to see if I can find my egg in here. I'm going to go ahead and put some on here. There it is. We got some egg. Oop. And it's really a soupy, messy dish. And the Parmesan is a little stringy. So let me wipe the edge off. And one of the great things, because it is a very liquid dish, you could actually serve it with some, we got some Fox Hill buns right here, which are a great keto bakery bun, right? I'm going to throw a little bit more herb over the top. You can make some garlic bread with this. These buns, they're probably one of the closest thing to a real bread that I found, and they're actually made with nut flour, so there's no gluten. They're perfectly keto, and it is a small company. It's located right here. They sent us some aprons, and we love them. So you can actually you can make some garlic bread if you want to put some garlic bread. I'm just going to have some over here so I can sop up the juices and eat up. So enjoy.